do that. So you should be able to hear me. Camera, good. I'm just here to share about charitable gifts of real estate to nonprofits. And I'm going to go through a list of different categories that are involved in the real agents of change. So my name is Sam Silver. I'm with eXp Realty, one of the fastest growing companies in the world. And just let me see if I can find this. And then we can stream. Let's see. I hope you're seeing this. Let me go to my stream and double check that you're seeing this. And I'm going to shrink myself. So that way you will be able to see what's going on here. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to make this bigger. So,
hey friends, welcome to Charitable Gifting of Real Estate 101. This is an overview. What is this thing? How do donations of real estate actually happen? And what we have here are 4 varieties of perspectives for you. You can watch the one that is most important for you, and we really encourage you to watch all of them so that you understand what's in it for everyone. So there is the Realtor 101. There is the Nonprofit 101, the Donor 101, and also the Social Responsibility 101. So feel free to watch any or all of these. And then on Wednesdays at noon Eastern, we have a live open Zoom where you can get any of your questions answered. That will be hosted by myself. It could be hosted by our VP, which is Alan Biles. It could be anyone of our tribe who are very proficient in answering your questions. We will also put a list of links on the landing page that you can go to do your own due diligence. We want you to understand this. We want you to really grasp the magnitude of the credibility of the people on our team, the specialized nonprofits, the realtors, the nonprofits that we are working with. So we look forward to seeing you either in the Wednesday Q&A or the masterclass or all of it. We have a ton of information to help you know exactly what your way of making money and making a difference is through charitable gifting of real estate. See you soon. Of Real Estate 101 for realtors. Realtors, friends, you can get paid a full commission to list donated real estate. There are 499 nonprofits per county in this country, 2,400 in each county in Florida. Your state, your county, your marketplace has donations of real estate, and you can get paid to list these legacy listings. Let's talk about that. So what would the causes and communities that you care about do with $550,000? Like, really think about that amount of money. This isn't about giving 10% of your commission. This isn't about selling raffle tickets. This is about funding the nonprofits you care about by an average of $550,000. Why that amount? Because that's the average amount of equity when a piece of real estate is donated. Now, in our book, Real estate is hot, fundraising is not. We go over the 5 keys that leverage real estate for real change. Key number 1 is to just learn what this is, and you can actually get the first chapter of that book for free. We'll be showing you that link in just a minute. Now, this is Dr. Russell James. He wrote the foreword for our book. He is the foremost authority in non-cash assets, helping nonprofits get funded. He says that this book, look, the problem is the disease is inertia and fear. People are afraid to do something they don't understand, both nonprofits and real estate agents, when it comes to donations of real estate. And the cure, you're reading it. If you're reading the book, you're seeing it right now. The cure is to become a charitable real estate champion and take these legacy listings at a full commission to benefit your causes and communities. Now, we call these legacy listings because every donation of real estate, in order to give the cash to the nonprofit world, has got to be listed. And every listing leaves legacy for the nonprofits, the donors that are desperately trying to donate real estate, and the realtors and all the other professionals that are part of these transactions and communities. We can't say it enough. We are not asking you to make a donation or to cut your commission just because people are giving their real estate away. To the contrary, we want you to get paid what you're worth. Now, $9 billion a year is already donated to nonprofits from gifts of real estate. This has been happening for 100 years. $550,000 is the average donation, and that's the equity. That's not the list price. So for those of you who do $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million listings, awesome. So do we. We're talking about the average equity that's donated. 99% of realtors, including your competition, don't have a clue. But every donation of real estate needs a realtor, and it might as well be you. By 2025, there will be charitable real estate divisions all over this country, charitable real estate specialists and champions, and it might as well be you giving that check to your favorite nonprofit. And the real estate can come from anywhere in the country. It doesn't have to be local. If you, as a real estate agent, have a nonprofit in Florida and a piece of real estate is donated in California or Wisconsin or Texas, you can get a referral fee for that. Any type of real estate. This is residential, commercial, raw land, as long as it's not a timeshare, as long as it has equity, and as long as it's marketable, it's a donation. Any nonprofit. There are 1.5 million nonprofits in this country. Every one of them have donations of real estate. They are afraid to do them themselves. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But you and I, we can come together and we can help any nonprofit that you love and all the other dozens and hundreds and potentially thousands in your marketplace. So here's the opportunity. I just want to wrap up some numbers around it. We do these 101 overviews for donors, for nonprofits, and for realtors. We encourage you to watch the other two because it gives you a whole new perspective for what they are wanting to know. But for you as a business person, let's talk about how you can actually make money making a difference. There are on average 499 nonprofits per county in this country of the 1.5 million. The average agent does a tri-county marketplace. What if 10% of those nonprofits in that average 1,500 nonprofit marketplace, what if 10% were to actually get a donation? What if it was just 3%? If 45 nonprofits in your marketplace were to say, we surely would like to get $550,000. And if they simply told their donors, yep, we can benefit from real estate. Imagine it being you that brings this to them. Imagine if 3% of the nonprofits in your marketplace got a donation of real estate. Let's look at what that would look like. So first of all, At $550,000 for the average donation, you're looking at over $24 million that's coming into your community because you stood up and said something to them. You encouraged them and invited them to actually have you as their real estate team with our help, of course. Now, $24 million times 5% commission, that's $1.2 million in commission for you. So see, we are giving you money to give them lots of money. This isn't trying to get a discounted brokerage. This is about making money, making a difference. And remember, that is commission based on the equity. That $550,000 is the equity. But what if those were $1, $2, $5, $7 million properties? What if it was like this one that was in Rhode Island last year, $1.7 million donation to the Martin Luther King Community Center? What about this one that's on the market right now in California? I love showing this because we want you to know we are not looking for gas stations down Route 66 that have tumbleweeds in the parking lot. This is not about real estate that people can't get rid of. This is a primary residence. And the reason that people donate is because they are altruistic, they are heart-centered, and they want to help. What about this one? Holy cow. This couple donated $129 million at one whack last fall to nonprofits. This is happening, my friends. And look, there are 3 ways that a donor can help nonprofits from the proceeds of real estate. So let's just get clear about the 2 ways that don't work and the 1 way that does. So the first way, well, why don't we just have the donor, the property owner, just sell their property and then give the proceeds to the nonprofit they love? Well, here's the problem with that. This is the worst way that real estate can benefit nonprofits because it is the least advantageous to everyone. The donor pays all the capital gains tax if there is any. The nonprofit receives the least amount of the donation. The donor has the least amount of tax write-offs. And this is just flat out the worst way for everyone involved. This is grandma's old way of donating proceeds from real estate. It's old-fashioned, it's outdated. And if you hear a nonprofit say that, you need to introduce them to us so that they can get more money and so that your client can benefit more. Now, the second way is if the donor of the real estate donates the real estate directly to the nonprofit that they want to benefit, their church, the Boys and Girls Club, the local humane society, etc. Here's the problem. In order for this real estate to be donated to a 501c3 and give the donor the tax benefits they want, it has to be free and clear for the title to exchange hands. And most of this property is not free and clear. There are mortgages. Sometimes the donor wants cash out. They don't have to donate the full amount. So if that were the case, then the Boys and Girls Club or the church or the soup kitchen would have to pay off mortgages, would have to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to give the donor if that's what they wanted. And even if the property was free and clear, what about just all the ancillary holding costs? The fact is, here's the fact, 99.9% of nonprofits will not do it. They have it written in their bylaws that they don't take real estate. They are risk adverse and just can't do it. They don't have the expertise. They don't have the capital. This is the hardest way, because even if that nonprofit does find their way through doing this kind of a transaction, it takes them months. of board meetings. And it's painful for the donor to go through, and it sucks up all of their manpower and all of their time that they could be doing something else. So these are a handful. Remember, I said 99.9% can't and won't. These are just a few of the nonprofits that do take real estate and actually have a system for it and actually have a real estate team. And the reason that I'm sharing these with you is this. If you Google charitable real estate, how to donate real estate, if the donors donate, Google, this is what will come up. I'm going to use Cars for Kids as an example. If a donor wants to just get tax benefits, they just want the write-off, they could donate to any of these, including Cars for Kids. They're all wonderful organizations and they all deserve to get funded. The problem is the donor cannot choose who gets the proceeds. So if all they want is a tax deduction, they can use one of these. None of these that I'm aware of guarantee you a full commission, and they certainly won't cut checks to every other nonprofit in the country. So the third way, the win-win-win way for all of us, is that you can utilize our group and the team of experts that we have put together. This is risk-free for any nonprofit. They never take title. They don't even need to know the address of the property. It is risk-free for them. There is no out-of-pocket expense. They don't need any capital for roofs or parking lots or holding costs. Bargain sales are available. And what that simply means, my friends, is this. The property doesn't need to be mortgage-free, lien-free, equity only. It can be encumbered by some of those things. It's okay. As long as there's equity, mortgages can get paid off. And if the donor simply wants cash, maybe it is a free and clear building, but they say, you know, I paid $300,000 for this $1 million condo a few years ago. I want my $300,000 back. They can do that. It's called the bargain sale. And by the way, you learn about this in our charitable real estate masterclass. The donor can receive the full array of tax benefits immediately. With this system, with the way that we do it, within 30 days, less than 30 days, mortgages are paid off, cash is given, title is transferred, and the donor is made whole and has their tax benefits. Even if it's at the end of the year, when they donate that real estate, they get the tax benefit, then you list it and sell it in the next calendar year. So the nonprofit world receives the maximum amount of donation. The donor receives the maximum amount of tax benefits, and 100% of the 1.5 million nonprofits are eligible. So instead of 99.99% of nonprofits not benefiting, you can get paid a full commission. They can get funded by an average of $550,000, and the donors are trying to donate real estate. We just need your help to let them know that it's okay. You get a guaranteed full commission. We are the only certification for charitable real estate specialists in this country or in the world. We are the only organization with systems and support and strategy. We have the world's only marketing specialist to create the social media and all the things that you need to market this. And we have the world's only charitable real estate strategist to help you create social responsibility campaigns. Now, this is just an example of some of the things we're doing. We've got the Donate Real Estate tab that nonprofits can put on their websites. You can even put it on your website that you are the charitable real estate division in your marketplace. We've got these podcasts where we are educating people on how this works. this is an example of one of our Zoom trainings. We have a map where you can be featured as the charitable real estate specialist that people can find. And this is an easy way for you to get all the information you need. Rockstar.com, notice how it's spelt. RAOC, ROC, Real Agent of Change. We are known as the ROC. We are the rock stars. We are rocking and rolling, and we rock on every day with the information, education, and certification required so that people know how to do this. Now, I'm going to take one more moment and I'm going to show you this rockstar.com website, and I want to give you a code that you can leverage if you would like to actually become a certified charitable real estate specialist. Now, when you put in rockstar.com, you'll see this. You can hover over and play videos. You can get the first chapter of the book for free or order the book. You can go to our Facebook group. You can see when master classes are. You can go to the shop. And if you click on the shop, you will see the store. And when you come into the store, you will see we've got a master class, we've got a specialist, and a champion. If you want to get certified as a charitable real estate specialist, I want to give you a discount code today for taking action on that. So what you do is you go into the learn more. Now that you're in the specialist, feel free to look around, see what's going on in here. I'm ready to take action. It's only $400 a year to be a specialist and be on the map. And when you click on the button, if you're doing it through Venmo, you can just take this discounted amount. It's $50 off. I'm giving you a $50 off coupon. So if you go through Venmo, just send $350 instead of $400. But if you go through the Stripe, then you'll see this come up. This is the code, RAOC 2022, ROC 2022. And when you click on that, it'll give you the $50 off that I am offering today. So my name is Cammie Baker. I am a real estate professional who knows what you go through every day. I have made tens of thousands of cold calls, door knocking, 7 networking events in a day. I know what it feels like to be competing and negotiating commission and just being in a big sea of lots and lots of competition. This will set you apart. This, you do not need to negotiate your commission. It is a full commission. This is you being able to attract 87% of the marketplace because people want to do business with others who care about the community. And instead of picking 1 or 3 or 5 or 10 nonprofits and giving 10% or buying raffle tickets or sitting on a committee, you can do all that if you want. But what if you could just get paid what you're worth to give them, on average, $550,000? That's why this group was created. That's why we're giving you a discount, because we want you. We need your help. We cannot give $1 billion a year, which translates into $50 million a year in real estate commission. We can't give that out unless there are generous, heart-centered people who want to make money, making a difference. I'll see you in the master class.
welcome to the Charitable Gifting of Real Estate 101 for nonprofits. My name is Alan Biles. I'm the Vice President of the Real Agents of Change, and I'll be taking you through a series of slides that outline and explain how you, as a nonprofit, can benefit massively from donations of real estate. First, I want to give you a warning up front. You cannot unlearn the truth. That is to say, once you know this and you see how powerful this is, we feel that you should be compelled to apply the information that you're about to receive. And if you do not, you're doing yourself as well as your donors a disservice. Now, the first question I want to ask really is, what would your nonprofit do with a donation of $550,000? It's a very important question. There's a lot of nonprofits are struggling just to stay afloat. You know, they do fundraisers and awareness campaigns and spend a lot of time and money just to rake in a handful of dollars. But $550,000 will be transformational for most nonprofits. Why $550,000? Well, that's the average size donation when it's in the form of real estate. Last year, the average was $556,000 on average per single donation. This is the book, Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not, that Cami C.E. Baker just finished and was and released last month in the month of June. And it is the workbook, the handbook from which all our teachings are basically coming from. So I highly implore you to get a hold of that book and learn what's in it. This is Dr. Russell James from Texas Tech University. He's one of the foremost authorities on how nonprofits can improve their endowments through gifts of non-cash assets. And he wrote the foreword and basically, in essence, said the problem is action. People can understand the idea and nod their heads at the numbers, but then nothing, they don't act. The disease is inertia and fear. The cure, you're reading it right now, this book, in reference to Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not. So the problem is that out of all the 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States, less than 0.5% actually take real estate in the form of donations. So if you were to actually show up at one of your local nonprofits with a cash gift of $500 in one hand, the deed to a property worth $500,000 in another, it's very unlikely they would actually accept the deed to that property. They'll just take the cash and thank you for your offer. So basically, there are three ways to give real estate to a nonprofit. The first two that I'm going to explain are two ways you probably already know. There's nothing very innovative or unique about these methods. So in the first scenario, the donor can sell the property itself and then pay all the taxes, including potentially capital gains tax. In this scenario, the nonprofit will receive the least amount of the proceeds of the donation. And the donor has the least amount of the tax write-off. This is the most inefficient way and the least beneficial to all involved. It is the worst way. So in this scenario, let's say the donor has a property worth $600,000. There's a $200,000 mortgage on it, and they want to give it to their nonprofit. So they sell it. They're going to pay a ballpark of $100,000 or more in taxes just on the sale of the property. So initially, they would have had a $400,000 equity on it, which is now only $300,000 after taxes. And then once they complete the sale, they may want to actually take back $100,000 to offset the tax they just paid on that. Now you're down to $200,000 as a donation and a $200,000 write-off for the donor. This is very, very inefficient. The second way, obviously, would be for the donor to just give the property over to the nonprofit, and then the nonprofit would just take title and ownership. But then they would be required to pay off any mortgage, give cash to the donor if they were asked, or to grant proceeds to other nonprofits if they were going to share in the donation. Then the nonprofit themselves will be responsible for owning, maintenance, and upkeep for the property, and then all during the sale process of this property. And God forbid any acts of God were to occur, like a hurricane or a tornado, then the nonprofit themselves will be liable for that. That would be a great amount of risk, which take a great amount of time and money, and that's typically not going to happen for most nonprofits. Less than 0.1% will actually take a gift of real estate this way. Most nonprofits will not do this. This is the hardest way, especially for the nonprofit. The donor gets off the title easily by giving the gift, but then the nonprofit, if they do take ownership, which is very rare, will actually do all the work in liquidating the property. There are good reasons why nonprofits won't do it either. Like, first of all, there's no expertise in real estate for most nonprofits, and they don't have a team of people to deal with it. They would require capital up front to pay off mortgages, to support the property while it's being owned and held and managed. Real estate itself, the ownership of it diverts the nonprofits from their mission. So like whatever they're doing while they're managing and owning and selling the real estate, they're not on their task. They're not on their mission. A lot of nonprofits have heard of or experienced bad experiences with real estate. And then there are some that will accept real estate under very limited basis. So it could have to be in a certain area. And the majority that do accept real estate as a gift have very restrictive gift acceptance policies. So you have to fit within a very, very tight hold to be able to actually get that gift received. Overall, it is simply too risky. The real reason that none of these nonprofits are taking the benefits of real estate as gifts is because you don't know about option 3. So real quick, let's just talk about some of the nonprofits that actually do take real estate. This is the part of the vast minority of nonprofits that accept donations of real estate. So for example, if you knew someone or you yourself wanted to donate property, Cars for Kids accepts real estate as donations. So if somebody that just wants a tax write-off, they can just give it straight to Cars for Kids, and they'll get their tax write-off, and Cars for Kids will put it to good use. But there is a third way, that if this donor wants this funding to get to you, to your nonprofit, and you don't want to deal with the property management or sale, and they don't want to deal with the property management or sale, and they want to get a handsome tax write-off, this is the way. You can utilize the Real Agents of Change, which is us and our team of experts. It's risk-free. There's no out-of-pocket expense for the nonprofit. There's no capital needed from you. We have capital available to enhance the value of the property if it needs it. There's bargain sales available. We can pay off mortgages if possible, if needed. And we can give cash back to the donor if that's something that they so desire. And the donor receives the full array of tax benefits for the donation right away. The nonprofit world receives the very maximum donation. 100% of the 1.5 million nonprofits in this country are totally eligible for this program. It's a win-win-win way. Basically, this is how it works. We have a specialized 501c3 nonprofit that is the intermediary. It's a 2-step process. Now, the donor that wants to donate the property first donates the property to our specialized nonprofit with agreements up front. They sign the contracts and the net valuation sheet up front that says this property is being gifted on behalf of your nonprofit. Our specialized nonprofit exists solely to receive the gifts of real estate and convert that real estate into capital for your nonprofit and other nonprofits just like yours. So our nonprofit takes on financial responsibility. They pay off mortgages. They do any renovation that's needed to increase the marketability of the property. So for you, there's no risk, no out-of-pocket expense, and no need to accept the real estate itself, just the proceeds of the sale. And this allows any nonprofit to benefit from gifts of real estate from anywhere in the country. So I want you to understand, last year, $9 billion was gifted in real estate. So other nonprofits are doing this. The average donation is $550,000, as I mentioned in the beginning. It's a very, very handsome donation. 18,000 or more donations a year are happening in the form of real estate. Your donors do not know that you can benefit from this. So a lot of nonprofits will say, well, we've never been offered a gift of real estate. Well, You've probably not been asking for it either because you don't want to deal with it, because it's probably not in your acceptance policies. It could be written right in your bylaws that we don't deal with real estate. Your donors are on other donors lists. And if that nonprofit that they're also helping to serve is accepting real estate and you're not, then you're out. Now, your donors are also looking for tax deductions, and tax deductions that they can get by donating real estate to your nonprofit are way more helpful and beneficial than they could by just giving cash. So really, it's incumbent upon you to let your donors know that they can do this. There is a benefit to them for giving real estate that they cannot get with cash. Your donors are eager to leave legacy. These types of donations are, like I said, transformational and make a huge impact on the community. They're also looking to plan out their planned giving, and real estate is a great ticket for that. Basically, the donations of real estate come in for your nonprofit. We do the rest. Simply, the only job for you as a nonprofit, once you really fully understand the process of how this works and how beneficial it is for you, is to get the word out, to let your donors know. Put it on your website, put it on your social media, include it in your emails, include it in your newsletters. If you're doing a fundraising campaign or an awareness campaign, it should go in all your marketing, your banners, or your any type of print that's going out there that your donors are going to read. You should let them know we can accept donations of real estate from anywhere. So you could be in Florida and the property could be in upstate New York. And that's going to create a whole nother layer of headache to even deal with that. Allow our specialized team of real estate experts, our specialized nonprofit, to handle that for you. Any size, our nonprofit has the funding available to pay off, large value real estate assets, and any type. It can be commercial, it can be residential, it can be raw land, as long as it's not a timeshare. If it has marketability, if it's marketable and has equity, it's a donation. So you can create funding right now and funding for later this year with charitable real estate. You can create a pipeline of funding for generations to come with this. As soon as you start putting it out there and donations come in, one donation, and then you put out a press release, you talk about it, you highlight that someone donated property to your organization, there's going to be another donor that's going to come forward just based on that. The numbers work out that way, that you probably have a donor on your donor list who would eagerly give property right now. These are some examples that we like to highlight that are recent. This is a $15 million multifaceted gift of real estate in Illinois. This is the sale of a golf club in Illinois for $15 million. It's a $1.7 million real estate sale to fund the MLK Community Center endowment. So these are not properties that are abandoned, trouble, condemned, some gas station that's been run down in the middle of Route 66. There's a $7.5 million piece of real estate that's right now in the market in California. These are actual donations of real estate that are in the process right now. And then this is the big one. This was a $129 million gift to one organization, the Arizona Community Foundation. Through all this was through a real estate package at one time. So you might recognize some of these logos and some of these charities. Fidelity Charitable is the largest nonprofit in the country. They leverage our specialized nonprofit to accept the funding from donations of real estate. All these nonprofits right here are benefiting from the gifts of real estate. These are some more universities that benefit from real estate right now through our specialized nonprofit. So hopefully, in a nutshell, you're asking yourself, all right, well, what's next? Well, first of all, don't waste time, because these donations are coming in all the time. And then if one of your donors happen to be donating real estate to a nonprofit they know accepts real estate and you're not accepting it, well, you're out. Do your research. www.theroc.com. We like to call it The Roc. It's THERAOC.com/documents. Here you can find a list of documents that outline the process. So a lot of times we hear, hey, do you have something we can take to the board? Right here is the answer to that. Number 3, communication is key. We want to communicate with you. We know this is the beginning of a relationship building. Please reach out to us if you have more questions. Cami C.E. Baker, she's the president. My name is Alan Biles. I'm the vice president. Here's our contact information. We really want to hear from you. We really want to know if you have questions, please feel free to call us, text us, email us. The 4th step is just take the funding. These gifts could come in without you even knowing about it. If the donor knew the process, they could initiate the process without even you being a part of it. The completion of the sale could happen and the grant would come in from our specialized nonprofit to you. And if the donor wanted to remain anonymous, you would just get an anonymous grant. So that's how little you actually have to spend dealing with it. And lastly, number 5, do what you were created to do. We want you to stay on mission. Even traditional fundraising takes you off task. All the planning, the investment, the time, the manpower. While you're doing all that fundraising, you're not actually accomplishing the mission that you were created to do. With charitable gifting of real estate, being able to receive this type of funding, you don't have to actually do specific fundraisers or awareness campaigns or have a team spend time and treasure and just have, all this work. To go into raising this money, you just let your donors know. These are some links, very important links. We want you to take this down. www.theroc.com/masterclass. This is our in-depth deep dive. It's the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. Eastern time. This is the most comprehensive information teaching that we have to offer. The masterclass is really huge, very important. theroc.com/FAQs, where you can see and read a lot of the frequently asked questions. theroc.com/donations. Here are some great examples of actual donations that came in and the stories behind them. theroc.com/property evaluation. This is the first step towards a charitable gift of real estate. When the donor first brings a contribution to the table, the first thing they have to do is have the property evaluated. And this is an example of what that property evaluation looks like. theroc.com/chapter 1. Here you can get the first chapter of Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not, for free. And this is our Facebook group for the Real Agents of Change. And this is Cami C.E. Baker's LinkedIn page. So I'm going to leave this up here for a minute, let you all take these links down, screenshot it, whatever you got to do. And that's the end of our presentation. I want to thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to hearing from you, and God bless.
Charitable Real Estate 101 overview for donors of real estate. My name is Cammie Baker. I'm the founder of a group called the Real Agents of Change. And we were created so that people who own real estate, just like you, when you're looking for the tax advantages and you want your favorite nonprofit to benefit, that's why we're here. Proceeds from your real estate can go to any nonprofit, any that you love, regardless if they know how it works. So here we go. So how can you leave your legacy now? Not when you die or some other time, but right this moment. You can leave legacy through your wealth bucket of real estate. Now, here's what you deserve to know about donations of real estate. You can't donate property from anywhere in the country. In some cases, anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where your nonprofit is. Your nonprofit can be in Florida and your real estate is in Washington State. Doesn't matter. Anywhere in the country, this real estate can benefit the nonprofits that you love. Any type of real estate, residential, commercial, raw land, doesn't matter as long as it's marketable and there's equity in the property. And once again, any nonprofit, friends, there's 1.5 million nonprofits and 99.9% of them cannot, will not, just won't facilitate these transactions, but we're here to partner and help them. So there are three ways that a donor can actually help their nonprofit from the proceeds of real estate. The first way is a way that you're probably familiar with. Now, this is the old-fashioned way. This is grandma's donation of real estate, where the property gets sold, all the taxes are paid, and when everything's said and done, the proceeds are handed to the nonprofit. Well, here's the problem with that. The donor pays capital gains tax, if that is part of this equation. The nonprofit ultimately receives the least amount of money. The donor gets the least amount of tax write-offs. This is the most inefficient, old-fashioned, outdated way. Friends, this is the worst way. So if you're talking to a nonprofit and they say, hey, go sell your property and give us the proceeds, remember that you met us and there's a better way. The second way is the hardest way. It's when the nonprofit is actually taking the real estate that the donor wants to donate. Let's say it's the Boys and Girls Club as an example. The problem with this is that the nonprofit is actually responsible to pay off mortgages. And if the donor wants cash out, because you don't have to donate the full amount of the real estate, if any expenses are to be had, the nonprofit receiving the real estate has to take care of that. They will be responsible for the maintenance and the upkeep and any unforeseen environmental issues. And it takes months and months for the average nonprofit, if they do try to take real estate, to decide what to do with it. So 99.9% of nonprofits will not do it. They just won't do it. It's too risky. They are very risk adverse. They don't have the expertise and they don't have the capital. So this is the hardest way. So way number one is the worst. Way number two is the hardest way. Now let's talk about the third way that you can help your nonprofits with your real estate. The Real Agents of Change and our team of experts have a system that is risk-free for any nonprofit. This is the easiest way for you, the donor, because you can be off title, you can have your mortgages paid off, you can have cash in pocket, you can have your tax deduction within 30 days. There's no out-of-pocket expense to handle the transaction for the nonprofits that are going to benefit. The capital that's available. Look, some of these properties need a roof. Maybe you need a whole parking lot repaved. Maybe there are things that could be done to enhance the value of the property that the typical nonprofit cannot do. Bargain sales are available the way we do this in the win-win-win way. And a bargain sale means that if you need mortgages paid off, if you want cash back, that can happen. A bargain sale means that you do not have to donate either a lien-free property that's only equity, and B, you do not have to donate the full value of property. You can receive all of the tax benefits immediately. You get that tax write-off right away, not in 3 or 6 months after board meetings, not after the property is sold to the general public, but right away in 30 days or less. The nonprofit world in this scenario receives the maximum donation, and the donor receives the maximum tax benefit, and 100% of the 1.5 million nonprofits in this country are eligible for this win-win-win way. So you as the donor, once again, you can get cash out of the property to pay off mortgages. You can recoup your initial investment. Any reason that you want money out, as long as there's enough equity left over to make it worth everyone's while, you can pull cash out of the property. Your major tax benefits include no capital gains tax on that which you donate. The appraised value of the property is the basis for your tax deduction. And there's lots of other ways that you can maximize this in your estate planning. You'll want to talk to your own CPA or attorney or financial professional. These proceeds can be given to any nonprofits, your local nonprofit, 1, 3, multiple. This is another reason why the second way, donating the real estate to the Boys and Girls Club, to the church, to the homeless shelter, is a problem, because if the money is requested by the donor to be split up, there's not going to be one nonprofit that is going to take that on and then give checks to other nonprofits in the second traditional way. But in this third way, absolutely. You can give it to as many nonprofits as you want, or you can put it in a donor advised fund. And once again, there's a lot of options. You really do want to connect with your CPA and attorney. This is the easy, convenient, fast way. You're off the title, mortgage free in 30 days. There's no selling expenses or repair costs or any of that stuff. All you pay for is an appraisal. And the third party experts that we are partnered with, not only are they the same third-party experts that work with nonprofits like Fidelity Charitables, meaning they have all the credibility in the world to work with the largest nonprofit in this country, they also can keep your details confidential and discreet. Some people don't want to donate their real estate to that nonprofit whose board they've sat on for 30 years, because maybe there's some details that they just don't want everybody to know. Maybe they just want them to get the proceeds and that's it. Friends, these are some resources. What is next for you as a property owner, property donor? Do your research. All of these links, therock.com/donations, you can see case studies, the documents tab, you can see exactly how all of these donations go down. The FAQs is a fabulous link. You'll see the top 13 most asked questions, interviews with me and the specialized nonprofit and other experts, property valuation form. If you go to this link and take 2 minutes to fill out the form about your property, we can get back to you within 24 hours and let you know if it's a donation to real estate or not. And then, of course, if you go straight to the donor page on our website, there's more information there. So to find out if your property qualifies, this is the link that I mentioned, property valuation. It's a form that looks something like this online, and we welcome you to get your property qualified. We welcome you to introduce your nonprofits that you love to what we're doing. We have another 101 overview specifically for nonprofits. We have one specifically for real estate agents, because realtors get paid a full commission to list these donations of real estate, and that's really important for the nonprofit world. Thank you for considering leaving legacy from your wealth bucket of real estate. Bye-bye. friends, welcome to Social Responsibility 101, featuring the tool that we leverage, which is charitable gifting of real estate. So let's share the screen and we will get right into our presentation. So charitable gifting of real estate is the biggest, baddest, boldest form of social responsibility. This is how we can fund causes in communities and careers and companies. And the fact is, our communities need us. What we're showing you here are just a cross section. Friends, there are 1.5 million nonprofits in this country, and everything from animals and veterans to children to universities to churches, they are all struggling for funding. They all need money. And the consumers, customers, and clients in this country want the companies that they're working with to be socially responsible. One of our favorite, most well-known quotes, social responsibility isn't just the right thing to do, it is the necessary thing to do in business. So just want to share a little bit of the story of how we all got here and why social responsibility is purposeful and profitable. So my red suit, the very first real suit that I had, this is way back when I was probably, oh gosh, this was 22 or so years ago, this photo. I was a newly sober, single mother, and I needed something. I needed to fix myself, frankly. And I called an ad in a newspaper and I became the listing coordinator for an agent that did 125 deals a year. It was such a blessing. For a year and a half, I did 15 listing packets a week, which is a lot. If you're a real estate agent, you know that. So I was basically a listing agent without going out on the appointments. So I learned from the best. And one of the reasons that I wanted to become a real estate agent, as I had learned from this agent for a year and a half, I learned that I could have a flexible schedule and I could come and go, and I could go with my daughter on her field trips, which is this last picture. So I was able to bring my daughter with me to fundraisers, take her on showings, and be at her field trips. That's why real estate was so important to me. It helped me to be a better mother. And as time went on, I worked for just about every real estate brand you can think of. RE/MAX just happened to be the very first one. I loved bringing the hot air balloon and doing things with it. It was a great way to promote myself and my business and get out and meet and mingle with people. This one was at the Boys and Girls Club. We did events at schools. It was just a really great way to do PR. I was with Century 21 for a while. We did a show called The Real Estate Roadshow. And here's what happened. When I became an HGTV House Hunter veteran and was really getting out there, I was able to acquire my dream car, which was a 64.5 Mustang convertible. And I share these photos with you. As you can see, I'm wearing something different. These are different car shows for 7 years in a row. We did them at the same place. And we were giving money to the local nonprofits. And when I would go to networking events and there were 10 other realtors in the room, I never stood up and talked about real estate. I talked about the car show and how we were looking for business to sponsor it, and people that wanted to bring their cars, and people who love cars. And most importantly, looking for people who wanted to support the Live and Let Live farm and rescue those horses, or veterans, or children with cancer, whatever the cause was. And so I learned that even when people didn't care about me or real estate or RE/MAX, they loved that we were being socially responsible. So over time, I started teaching other people how to do it. I was hired by the president of this board of realtors to be her personal mentor in teaching social responsibility. In this particular drive, we raised 8,000 diapers for a halfway home for women who are coming off opioids and having babies and they needed diapers. This was a drive that we did gathering up items for Christmas with this woman. She was my Botox doctor at the time. She hired me to do that. This was when I spoke for a real estate investor association group in Jacksonville. And I told them I will only fly down and do a speaking engagement if you incorporate social responsibility. We did a coat drive, and that's all of us sitting together with my book. So I started teaching this to people. And over time, this client loved Habitat for Humanity. This one was when we created Realtors for Recovery, and this was about an event with about addiction. Coat drives, obviously in Boston, need a lot of coats. We did things for animal rescue shelters. This was a poker run that was also for addiction and veterans. We did stuff at Hero Box to send things to our enlisted people overseas. And the reason I'm sharing all this with you is to say, for years and years, before I even learned about charitable gifting of real estate, I was already practicing social responsibility campaigns, bringing for-profit and nonprofit together to make money, making a difference. And as you can see, usually it was around a fundraiser or some kind of thing that took 30 days, 3 months, 6 months to prepare, to put together. So when I learned about charitable gifting of real estate, I said, holy cow. Instead of just doing a raffle or trying to raise $500 or $10,000 or $50,000, we can actually make a big difference leveraging real estate. So this is what we're doing now. We're going all over the country in the RV. We've created List a Legacy Listing Month that's in April. The book, Real Estate is Hot, Fundraising is Not, has come out. All of that experience, real estate, nonprofit, social responsibility has led up to what we're doing today. So here's some numbers for you. Nonprofits, now this works all over the country. You're going to be seeing this video from anywhere in the country. We happen to be planting our flag in Florida because in Florida, there are 1.5 million nonprofits in the country. 10% of them are in Florida. And just to give you some numbers, overall in the United States, there are 499 nonprofits per county in this country that need your help. They all need funding. And I'm just throwing up some numbers here. These are some communities that we work in that have 8,000 nonprofits, 10,000 nonprofits. Orlando has over 11,000 nonprofits. And if you look at the reference number there, you can go and find for your county how many are in your county. And we share this to say that social responsibility is a big deal. The nonprofits need us, and check this out. Customers, clients, and consumers have spoken. They want to do business with businesses and service providers and products that are on purpose. So look at these numbers. 92% of people say that they want to work with companies that are supporting social or environmental issues. 70% of them believe that companies should be taking action. 88% when a company supports a social or environmental issue say that they're more loyal. 71% of millennials won't even work with you, won't work for you either if you're not socially responsible. Friends, the numbers work. This last number of 87%, you'll hear us say all the time because it's just cut and dry. 87% of consumers, customers, and clients have been polled 1,000 times. 87% of people will choose you when you are on purpose. Social responsibility. This is not just about realtors and nonprofits, financial advisors, title companies, attorneys, dog walkers, network marketers, anybody and everybody. If you're in business, you can put money in your pocket to put money in the pocket of the nonprofit that you love. We have the ability to help all of them. You don't have to pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 nonprofits. You can help hundreds, thousands with the biggest, baddest, boldest social responsibility campaigns ever. Now, what if your business could stand for all nonprofits in your marketplace? What if your business could make money, making a difference, not take money out of your pocket and sponsor an event by giving them $1,000 or $50,000? That's all well and good, and sponsorship is nice. But what if those companies, what if we shifted our language and our actions just a little bit so that the companies could actually make money by being a part of an awareness campaign, letting people know about charitable gifting of real estate? What would these nonprofits that you love do with $550,000, which this number is actually now gone to $600,000? And the reason we say that number is because that is the average amount from one piece of real estate. Our book talks all about not just what is charitable gifting of real estate, but the 5 keys to leverage real estate for real change. Key number 1 is to learn what it is. Key number 2 is to lead generate. We go through all of it in the book. At the very least, you need to get the book. It is the Bible for how social responsibility works in this realm. Now, here's a simple case study. Berkeley Humane Society. Gentleman came to the table in December of last year, said, I need a tax deduction. And from December 15th, when he met our team, to December 25th, and that short period of time, that team took possession of the real estate, giving him the tax advantages he needed for that year. And then when it closed in April, it produced over $400,000 for that nonprofit. This is how it works. That nonprofit said, what? We had no idea we could benefit from real estate. We have no idea how this works, but we're going to tell our donors and see if there's any more. So they said to their donors, we have no idea how this works. Don't even ask us. But if you have real estate or know anyone, we can benefit from it. Donation number 2, 55 and older community building, house. The donor said she's never going to live there. She donated it just in August. $646,000 went to that nonprofit. 1 nonprofit, 2 donations, 6 months, over $1 million. That is being socially responsible. And when we can promote that, when your business is part of letting people know about this, imagine the clients and customers that you will attract. $9 billion a year is donated nonprofits from gifts of real estate at that average amount of $550,000. This is what it looks like. These are not gas stations out in the middle of nowhere. These are beautiful properties. It can be any kind of property, raw land, residential, commercial. See the date on this? 2022, on the market right now. Now, a little bit less than a half of a percent of nonprofits will take real estate. We're showing them to you right now. 99.9% of nonprofits will not take real estate. These are some that do, and we're showing them to you because we want you to know it's happening. Your donors, if you're a nonprofit, are on other donor lists. Your clients are on donor lists. And Cars for Kids is one we use as an example. Cars for Kids now takes real estate. And if the donor Googles how to donate real estate and they find Cars for Kids or any one of these, they can donate and get their tax deduction. But here's the trick. They cannot decide who's going to get the funding. Cars for Kids is keeping the funding, the giving block. Maybe some of them have 3 or 4 nonprofits you can choose from. But if you want your church, If you want your community, if you want your homeless shelter to get the money, you can't do it this way. You can't give it to them. Now, these on this slide have received donations of real estate the way that we do it. Now, Girl Scouts, Habitat for Humanity, Fidelity Charitables is the largest nonprofit in this country, and even they use the team that we use. Universities, public radio. The point is, gifts of real estate are happening. Which causes and communities will be added to this list of nonprofits that are benefiting from real estate? What companies are going to show up as socially responsible? Well, that's up to you. That's up to us. Social responsibility is how you attract 87% of your marketplace. Friends, this couple gave $129 million of real estate to a community foundation just last year. These are the kinds of people that are doing this. We're just wanting to prove to you that just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it's not happening. It's happening all around us. Now, here is what the nonprofits need to know. Charitable gifts of real estate, the way that we do it, are risk-free, zero money out of pocket, easy. You don't have to change gift acceptance policies. You never take title. Any and all nonprofits can benefit from this funding period. We have classes on how this works. Please feel free to watch the other Realtor 101, the Nonprofit 101, the Donor 101. This is more about just giving you an overview of the social responsibility aspect. Here is what for-profit businesses need to know. 87% of your marketplace will work with you over the competition when you are being socially responsible. Social responsibility campaigns, that's how you win them over. And instead of thinking, well, gosh, which nonprofit should I support? Who would my community? Do they want me to support veterans? Would they rather that I help animals? Why don't you just support all of them? By bringing awareness that charitable gifting of real estate is possible for all churches, all veteran groups, all universities, all of them. So friends, here's what's next. Turn the first key. Learn what charitable gifting of real estate is. We have a master class. Currently, it's free. Turn that first key and learn what charitable gifting of real estate is, because until you know what it is, we can't get to the second key, which is lead generation with social responsibility. So these are just a few links that we want to give you to do your own due diligence. Feel free to take a snapshot of this. The FAQs, masterful. Questions that you haven't even thought of are answered there. The donations link, there are 10 examples. Raw land, commercial, residential, who donated it, how much money, what nonprofit received it. Property evaluation link is what people go to see if their property qualifies. You can get the first chapter of our book for free at the chapter 1. You can join our Facebook group. You can connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message. Want to keep this really brief and short. Thank you for sitting in on social responsibility. The bottom line is people are learning about this all over the country. And if you want to make money making a difference, if you want to make money because you're making a difference, if you want to make difference because your business is making money, that's what we are talking about. Look forward to seeing the master class very soon.